Hello everyone and welcome to another video. Today we're going to go through the usual intake cleaning process I do for most of the swords when they arrive. These two downscaled glaives are a recent acquisition. They arrived just a bit of time ago and they're overall in better condition than most of the blades I actually end up buying. As you can see, it's still quite shiny, it doesn't have any dings or damages. But I wanted to specifically show you this one in this video because it's a good example of why you should never, or why you should always wipe your blade with oil after you've touched it with your bare hands. So many collectors won't even touch their blades with bare hands, they'll always wear gloves. That's probably best practice overall. I find though I like to have a direct connection with my swords, but I also make sure I clean them as soon as I've touched them. So what we'll see here is the amount of fingerprints and palm prints, I suppose. It's almost as if it had been dusted by the police for prints or something. Like you really see the details of every fingerprint. And this may sometimes seem strange to beginner collectors or people who have perhaps handled stainless steel swords, because the idea that by simply pressing your thumb on a piece of metal you're actually damaging it just seems kind of preposterous, honestly. And people may think that this is a bit of an exaggeration. Nerd collectors are kind of putting out there just to spook beginners, I suppose. But no, it's actually a fact. So we'll see the details right away, but make sure if you touch your swords to keep them clean. Okay, so little disclaimer here. I unfortunately lost the audio. It didn't record for this section of the video, so I'm voicing over, so you may not hear the background noise. But if we look at this sword, for example, you can already see those dark spots on the edge, on the top edge especially of the blade. And these are basically hand and fingerprints that have then been cleaned and wiped over time and leave this dark mark, especially if you leave them there for a longer time. If you let stains kind of run, then they're going to really be imprinted on your blade. This one, on the other hand, is a bit worse in the sense that the fingerprints and the stains are actually more active rust than just a dark stain. You can see one precisely here. So let's see, yeah, there it's getting in focus. You can kind of see that clear in the middle of the blade. There's a roundish oval mark, and you can see one very clearly on this side of the blade. You can actually see the ridges of the fingerprint very, very clearly. And you can also see that that's actually active rust there. So it's not just a dark stain on the blade. This is actually damaging the steel as time goes by. There's a few along the blade, but overall these I would say are blades that are in rather good condition. They're quite shiny, they don't have any nicks or dings, they don't have deep pitting or like crazy rust. So it's, yeah, it should be really easy to remove the rust at least and the fingerprints. The stains might remain though, as we see in the sword on the bottom. So as usual here I'm using the sponge you just saw a glimpse of, and yeah, and Autosol applied liberally, as is usually the case with my cleaning process. It's always, you'll see in a moment now, how it's really surprising always how even on a blade that seems fairly clean, you really remove a whole bunch of dirt. And of course Autosol is mildly abrasive, so it's not like technically it might not be removing only dirt, but you can always see how quickly this muddy residue, this like muddy Autosol residue cakes the blade as you rub it. And it's really interesting because sometimes you buy a sword or you look at it and you feel, oh wow, that's it's really clean and good conditions. Even by touching, it feels quite smooth and clean. But then look at the amount of dirt that's on the table there. And here's after a bit of rubbing and cleaning, and you can see again the amount of dirt that's remained on the table and on the blade. And you'll see now when I wipe it off how much dirt remains on the paper towel. As you can see, those stains remained. You would have to actually remove a little more material from the blade. But overall, look at it. It seems to me it's nice and shiny. Not new, of course. You can see some deeper stains, like the one I'm pointing at, but also just a little bit of general random staining on the blade, but it looks very nice, I would say. And now moving forward to the next one. Okay, so as you can probably already see, the amount of dirt is even more on this sword. So now we get to wipe it clean. I saved you the watching me clean it, and we just get the satisfying part. So here we go. And well, I wonder, yeah, you can, I mean, as the previous one, we see a bunch of marks. There's that black section that I don't know if you had seen earlier, but it was really deeply dark. Now you still have some stain on it, as you see even above here where there was that rusty fingerprint. But yeah, the stains cannot really be helped without removing actual steel now. So I'm happy with this result. The blade looks like the other one, very in very good conditions. It's shiny. Yeah, it's marked. It's not perfect, but of course it's over 100 years old, so I wouldn't expect it to be. And for 5 minutes of work on each sword, I think overall it's a pretty decent result. Some people may be disturbed a little or bothered by these stains. A lot of people feel the need to really polish their blades to a mirror polish kind of look. I would discourage you from doing that. To remove these stains, which are really minor and not impacting the sword at all, you really need to start removing steel there. So yeah, I don't think it's a wise thing to do. But overall, very satisfied with the result. It's always nice to clean swords and fun, so no complaints from me. Thank you for watching and have a great day, and see you in the next video.